uphephandaba odlunga emanqulubeni kwaze kwasemanqulube sibelela usishaka kashayeli ulasho mahlazi
The story of the woman with 7 sons is a very intriguing story. The reason I know about it is because I acquired this old Bible from 1875 with illustrations of Gustave Doré. Otherwise I would never have known about this story. It's one of those obscure little stories in the book of Maccabees in the Old Testament. It's about the invasion of Israel about 160 years before Christ. The Syrian court are residing in Israel, right outside the Temple of Jerusalem, and they are humiliating the population. Amongst others, they have arrested the very famous Jewish intellectual El-Assar, and they are torturing him and humiliating him on the square.
Igama lami ngithemba Mkhwanazi. Mina kade ngidlala indima yokuba inkosi kule story ezekathi sisidlala. Bengiyinkosi enonya enomona.
The king tells El-Assar that if you want to change side and be with us, I will be merciful towards you, and you can continue to go about your ways. But then, in order to prove your loyalty towards us, you must eat pig's meat. And for a Jewish religious man at this time, it was completely unthinkable to even touch pig's meat.
Ngafuni umuntu aphile impilo yakhe ngokuyithandela yena. Ngifune abantu baphile impilo ethandwa yimi. Mina kade ngibabulala ingane zabo.
And so what they do, El-Assar, he obviously refuses. He's part of the rebellion against the Syrian court and the Hellenic fashion that is ruling Israel at this time. So he said, I refuse to eat pig's meat. You can do with me as you please, because I'm already finished with my relationship with God. I'm finished as a human being. I don't care what you do to me. I have a wonderful relationship to God. I know what I want with my life. You can kill me, you can torture me, it doesn't matter. And so they torture him and humiliate him publicly on the square.
Kumanje omunye umama ngangifuna ukumbulalela ingane yakhe ngoba nginomona nginenhliziyo nje embi.
Enkolweni yami asidli ngulube njoba nje kule ndawo engidlalayo ngindawo yomama yamadodana awu7. Kula madodana awu7 nami ngibafundise abantwana bami ukuthi abayidli ngulube kangangoba ukuthi noma kungaqhamuka noma ubani seceleni ngaze nginikele ngokuthi ungamane usibulala kunokuthi usishintshise into esazalwa siyiyo nesikholelwa kuyona.
And finally, they, after having tried to force him to eat pig's meat, they dismember his body. They cut off his scalp, they cut off his arms, his feet, doing whatever horrible things you can imagine to a person. Then a woman comes. I think she was an aristocratic woman. It doesn't say in the Bible, but one can assume that she was aristocratic, since she and her family are brought up to be trialed in front of the king. And this is the woman with 7 sons.
ngiphila ngayo isiZulu ngiyasazi njengokushisa impepho akekho umuntu ongangitshela ukuthi abakithi abangasekho angakholelwa kubona kufanele ngikholelwe kubona ngoba yinto engizalwe naye engincelebeleni kumzali wami ngakhula ngayo nabantwana bami ke kanjalo ngibafundisa lokho yingakho ke ngize ngabulawelwa abantwana bami ngoba ngidlala leyo ndawo
You wait. Here is my tongue, and then there is an exclamation mark. Oh, yeah? Here is my tongue. Cut it out. Take my hands. Take my feet. Cut them off. Then you... Hello, my name is Christopher Thorpe, and I'm currently working on a project for Johann Falkman involving making bronze sculptures. My role is to make the plaster mold for that in order to make the bronze sculpture. So with that process, it includes Johann sculpting from a live model the clay sculpture of the head, and I would then convert that into a plaster of Paris mold, which will then be used to make the bronze casting. So the process obviously begins with Johann sculpting the clay model from a live model. I would then insert shims around the perimeter of the head and basically lay up 3 or 4 layers of plaster of Paris, building up a thick border around the side of the head. Let that dry, remove the shims and repeat the process on the other side, including registration holes and other elements. From that point, once both the sides of the cast have set, we then split it apart, remove the clay mold, original mold that was there, which is now considered a waste mold, or a waste model rather. Okay, so what this is the master mold, but it's also a waste model at the same time. So as you can see, it's all broken up now because we've separated the plaster of Paris mold, the waste mold, from the waste model. So once we then finish the casting, we will end up with the perfect version of the original clay model, but now in plaster of Paris. All the paintings on the subject of the mother and her 7 sons are confrontational. The figures are monumentalized. They symbolize something. And that is the ultimate humiliation, but also the ultimate liberation in confronting one's greatest fears, which is death, which is accusation, to be accused of something, to be put on trial, being innocent. And so the 2 main paintings shows the mother and her 7 sons surrounded by friends and family. There are 3 women in the painting. The 2 other women can be sisters or friends. They're there to support this family. The mother is holding the youngest son like this. And they're all confronting the king. And they're also confronting, obviously, the viewer of the painting. So when you see this painting, you are actually the king. And the situation is the same for the painting of King Antiochus IV and his court. It's just a reversed situation. The accuser, the person who is confronting the family, he is also confronting the viewer of the paintings. And the king is holding the youngest sons in his arms, the same son that the mother is protecting at the beginning in the painting with the family. So it's a reverse situation. It's double confrontation. The accuser is confronting you, and the accused are also confronting you as a viewer. And naturally, as anybody can understand, this is of course a symbol of man, of all of us, and our risks that we are taking in our lives. If we stand up for who we are, if we accept who we are, and if we stand by ourselves, we will always be at risk of being accused by others. We will always be at risk of being killed even. Look today what's happening in the world. People are constantly being killed for what they believe in, for who they are. They're innocent. They're put on trial for having done nothing but being who they want to be and sticking to their principles or ideals or political convictions or whatever it may be. They're being killed for this. And this has been happening throughout civilization. Since man became civilized, we have accused each other, we have killed each other, we have haunted each other. This seems to be an eternal story that goes on and on and on. And that's why I feel that these biblical stories are so extremely relevant. And I'm so thankful that I discovered these stories in this old illustrated Bible by Gustave Doré from 1875. I wouldn't have known about this story if it wasn't for that Bible.